国际奥委会主席科斯蒂·考文垂上任后首次访华，接受高端访谈独家专访。他用叹为观止形容第15届全运会开幕式。
I mean, I think it's huge. All 3 of the provinces and regions were represented, and that was sending a very strong message.
钦佩习近平主席对体育事业发展的远见和格局，考文垂表示
There's not very many leaders that place that kind of importance on sport.
赞赏中国体育事业的全面发展。他表示
There's so much that we can, as an entire movement, learn from what China's doing and how you're doing it in such a successful way.
高端访谈专访国际奥委会主席科斯蒂·考文垂，敬请收看。
关注国际焦点，洞察世界风云。大家好，欢迎来到本期的高端访谈，我是邹印。从我身后的跑道呢，大家可能也能够猜出，本期对话的嘉宾呢是跟体育有着密切的关联，他就是国际奥委会主席考文垂，这也是他今年6月就任以来首次到访中国。眼下第15届全国运动会正在如火如荼的进行，出席全运会开幕式的考文垂主席感受到了怎样的文化、科技和体育的震撼融合？对北京奥运会有着特殊情缘的他，如何看待中国近年来在加强体育强国建设方面取得的成就？而在奥林匹克运动面临新挑战、新机遇的当下，他又计划如何带领国际奥委会与时俱进、突破创新呢？今天我们一起在对话中寻找答案。President Coventry, great to have you with us on Leaders Talk. Welcome to Beijing, or should I say, welcome back to Beijing, because this is the city that you achieved some of your proudest athletic accomplishments during the 2008 Olympic Games. 1 gold, 3 silver. That's amazing. So how does it feel to be back in the city that is filled with so many beautiful memories?
Oh, it feels really wonderful. Beijing 2008 was such a highlight in my athletic career. So it's really symbolic that it is, one of the places that I'm coming back to very early in my presidency now. It's really symbolic and it's special. Yesterday we were with some of our partners and, they were saying I had 4 wonderful memories in 2008, and now I have 4 wonderful memories from this trip. Meeting with His Excellency, being the national games, meeting with the partners, and getting to travel the country a little bit. So it's been really wonderful to be here and to come back into Beijing.
激情全运会，活力大湾区。今年，本届全运会迎来历史上首次由粤港澳3地共同承办的一场体育盛会。11月9日晚，国家主席习近平出席开幕式，并宣布运动会开幕。开幕式以“圆梦未来”为主题，生动展现粤港澳大湾区的壮丽画卷与蓬勃气象。而国际奥委会主席考文垂、国际奥委会终身名誉主席巴赫出席开幕式，则成为本届全运会的一个亮点。
Now let's go to one of the key reasons that brought you here, the 50th National Games. Yes. And you just told me, while we were here, that the opening ceremony, while you watch it, was breathtaking. And you also used mind-blowing and words like magnificent to describe it. So which part impressed you the most, given it's quite a dazzling blend, right, of culture and innovative spirit?
I don't think I can pick one particular part, because it was captivating for the whole time. It was really wonderful. The blend of culture and sport and technology and how that just seamlessly all worked was incredible. The colors and the dances, and something that I love about China is just how proud culturally you are, and you feel it, and it's a passion.
It's the confidence.
It's the
culture
confidence,
heritage,
and I love it. I think it just speaks volumes, and so really it was wonderful. And I got to share the experience with His Excellency and the First Lady, and that was, again, really incredible. And I got to share with him a moment with some of the drums. I said, oh, the drums, they bring back really good memories from 2008. And he so proudly shared with me the difference between the northern and southern drums, and in 2008, the different drums that were used. And again, it was so awesome and cool to hear the head of state, the president, talking so proudly about the culture of the country. And it was really special.
And you must have noticed that this is also the very first time the National Games is co-hosted by Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau, so collectively known as the Greater Bay Area. That's quite a story of the country's regional integration and collective development. So how do you see the significance?
I mean, I think it's huge. When we were there, starting with the meeting with His Excellency, and the vision that he has is very clear on what the Greater Bay Area could be, and not what it could be, but what it's going to be. To have sport hopefully catalyze to that and push that forward. It was really very awesome to see, and we got to go and watch some wushu where
martial
you had
arts,
and that was
young
beautiful.
People, I saw the photo.
Yes, exactly. But what was really nice is that all three of the provinces and regions were represented, and that was sending a very strong message. You know, I didn't quite know what to expect, but the cities are just so beautiful and so developed. When His Excellency and the team earlier were sharing some of the economical values, I was like, wowzer, you know, it's got a bigger economy than Australia already, and where it's wanting to go. It's, again, I think the very clear vision that His Excellency has for the area is magnificent. Yeah. And sport gets to be a part of it, because the sporting facilities are wonderful, and athletes and communities get to benefit from that, and that's really powerful.
It is also becoming kind of increasingly important economic pillar to propel the region's development as well.
Yes, 100%. I think sport, you know, I think now sport is a $1 trillion industry around the world, but it's also proving, and we can see that it is helping to develop communities and strengthen communities, and also play a huge part on bringing down the expense of a community, right? Because if communities are healthy, that's less pressure on the healthcare systems. And so it's really nice to see that there's so much investment going in to communities, because investing in sport is investing in communities, and having a healthy population is a vibrant population.
That's right, indeed. And you mentioned that while you were in Guangzhou, you had your first meeting with President Xi as IOC president.
Yes.
So what were some of the highlights or your major takeaways from your discussion with His Excellency President Xi Jinping?
It was an incredible meeting. I felt very honored to sit with him and to talk with him, and to again hear the level of importance that he places on sport. You know, I shared with him there's not very many leaders that place that kind of importance on sport, and we very much agreed that when it comes to sport should remain neutral. And that's something that I believe we all love about sport, is watching athletes come together, and athletes don't see differences, because we see the fact that we've all had to walk a certain path to get onto the same playing field. So there's an automatic respect there, and that, I think, in today's world is really important to continue to promote.
And during the conversation, President Xi also emphasized China's readiness to expand high-quality cooperation with IOC, as well as contribute greater wisdom and strengths to the global sporting governance. So how does IOC plan to leverage the strengths of China in global governance to advance international sports development?
Well, I think there's so many different levels at which we can do that. We have an incredible relationship and cooperation with the Chinese Olympic Committee. I am very fortunate to have great Chinese members on the IOC, and Ms. Ling Wei on the executive board. And I think there's so many different things. One of the things I speak about a lot is one of the proudest moments for me coming back to Beijing was in 2022 for the Winter Olympic Games, and getting to walk back into the water cube, and it was curling. And so to see venues being used in a multi-purpose way, especially between a summer and winter sport, where I think a lot of people would sit and be like, how curling and swimming, how do you do that? How does that work? I think in that way, it's showing different levels of sustainability and a huge legacy. So there's so much that we can, as an entire movement, learn from what China's doing and how you're doing it in such a successful way. So I think, again, there's so much more that we can learn and that we can leverage off of, and the growth and the pace at which China is growing in different sectors, especially in technology. And I'm looking forward to the future with them to strengthen that for the Olympic movement and for sport.
So after your meeting with President Xi, what is your impression of President Xi, not only as a leader of China, but also as a very passionate sports lover who constantly emphasizes the importance of sports development and also constantly encourage young people to embrace physical exercise?
Do you know what I shared with my IOC colleague, with Miss Ling Wei? I just said, it felt like I was meeting with my older brother. Like, he was just so warm and so genuine when he spoke about sport. You could just see the passion. And it was really, really wonderful to see him talk with such conviction about how sport can really help drive an economy, and it can help drive a community, and it can be that unifier. It was really an incredible experience.
Speaking of technology, actually this time during the 15th National Games, many state-of-the-art technologies are being integrated. For instance, the world's very first humanoid robot,
Yes.
Portfaria, equipped with 5G advanced technology.
Yep.
Did you see them running?
I saw it on TV.
It's quite like a human running.
Yes,
very
it does.
steady steps.
It does look very similar. And we were having the conversation of, okay, but hopefully people still just want to come and watch athletes perform.
That's
not
for sure.
robots just yet.
And also the robot playing the ancient,
drums.
the drums, the
Yes.
ancient instrument at the
Yes.
opening ceremony.
Yes.
There are also other innovations being applied.
100%. This morning when we were at the Alibaba headquarters, they were showing us and sharing with us character. It's not a real actor or person. It was great. So it's a person. It's an AI generated person that is in a movie, and she's become really famous apparently. So I thought that was really cool. And I said with that kind of technology, I can maybe be in two places at once.
But how do you think technological advancement like these will shape and change the future of global or international sporting events?
So for the Olympic movement and for the sporting movement, I think we have to be very aware of what it is that we are wanting technology and AI to help us with, or solutions to come up with. I think there are so many different areas, from helping athletes train, medical advice, nutritional advice. Everything is online, it's accessible. Now it's the question of how do we get that spread to athletes in developing countries, for example, that could really benefit from these types of programs. But then it comes down to helping judge, helping to score, fan engagement. How do we
enhance the
reach
fairness?
out? Yeah, exactly. I got to put on some of the glasses from TCL and got to experience my race again. But that is an incredible outlet, which fans at home will be able to put, wear this technology and feel like they're right there with us in a stadium. So there are so many incredible opportunities. And I think it can help with governance structures and good governance and transparency, and all of those, I think, will play a huge role.
And also on improving the experience of spectators as well with all those technologies.
100%. And so the broadcasters and our partners are really coming up with some incredible things. I'm excited to see how it gets implemented in Milano Cortina and in LA.
So President Coventry, how do you evaluate the improvements by China in enhancing national fitness and improve the health of its people?
Well, I think you can see how the mass participation has been soaked up by the country, because the national games, if I'm not mistaken, it was about 25,000 athletes taking part, about 14,000 athletes from Olympic sports, and another 11,000 plus in recreation. I don't think I've not heard of that anywhere else. Enormous. And so it's so big, and the fact that there's so much intake, so many people want to be a part of that movement, I think is really significant. I think the emphasis on gold medals is still there, but it's maybe more, it's done more holistically, more naturally, you know. It's really people are identifying that they have a talent, that they really want to get into sport, and then it's done in that way. Again, the investment that's going into infrastructure, the access to sport facilities, I think that really is probably some of the biggest change that I've seen. And
I believe that you must agree with me about this, which is media plays a key role in making the spirit and the games and Olympic Games achievable and reachable to audiences around the globe. And this time, while you're here, IOC has signed together with China Media Group the finalized media rights agreement spanning from 2026 to 2032. So, President Coventry, how do you envision this long-standing partnership with CMG moving forward, and how do you evaluate the contribution of CMG in enhancing global reach in the Olympic narrative?
I mean, I think the figures speak for themselves, right? CMG reached, helped the Olympic Games of Paris reach 800 million people here in China and beyond. And those are such important numbers. But, you know, I think the numbers are one thing, and we're all very proud of the numbers, but you wouldn't have the numbers if you don't have an incredible product. And the product that CMG are creating is very powerful. It's not just the athletes' results, it's the athletes' stories. It's showcasing the best of humanity, winning, losing, you know, those things of getting back up and trying again, all those soft skills that I think as humans we relate to. CMG has been doing a really great job of telling those stories and getting people to connect, because you can broadcast, you know, and in today's world, anyone can be a, you know, stand up and video with your phone,
be their own reporter,
be a reporter, and you know, social media guru, but you have to be able to connect. What makes you different is if you can connect to people so that they keep coming back. And I think that is something that CMG have done so well, and I know are planning to continue to do in the future. And a number of our broadcasters are learning from that and focusing in on that, because they can see the value that has been created here. And this is, again, another area where we're all learning together and we're growing together, and we'll continue to create a stronger and stronger partnership.
科斯蒂·考文垂1983年出生于津巴布韦首都哈拉雷。作为游泳运动员，他参加了5届奥运会，获得2金4银1铜，共7枚奥运奖牌，创下了非洲运动员之最。2013年，考文垂以运动员委员的身份加入国际奥委会，开启职业体育管理者的新征程。2018年至2021年，他担任国际奥委会运动员委员会主席，并进入执委会。2023年再次进入执委会。今年6月23日，考文垂正式接替托马斯·巴赫，成为国际奥委会创立131年来首位女性主席，也是首位来自非洲的掌舵人。
During your inauguration speech back in June, you have said that your 2 young, very lovely daughters are a constant reminder that why the Olympic movement must stay relevant, why we need to make a change, and why we need to embrace the new ways. So as now you're still in the early stage of your term, what steps do you think are necessary? Well, what kind of reforms do you look forward to make sure that the Olympic movement, after over 100 years of history and development, could still remain relevant to the future generation?
I think there's a number of different ways. I think how we look at embracing technology and AI is going to change a number of ways in which we do things. I think how we communicate with young people today is very important. And you know, we had a meeting last week with the International Olympic Committee commissions, and there were a few points made around we need to find cool ways, innovative ways to engage with young people, but it's also really important to still engage with everybody else. We're not just thinking, oh, we only want to focus on the young people, right? It's for everyone. Sport is for everyone.
Olympics is for everyone.
Olympics is for everyone. I think whenever there is a transition or a change, I think there's time to really give respect to everything that's been done in the past, and then to sit and say, okay, where are we going from here? What does that look like? And for me, it's very important to ensure I have the buy-in from everyone.
One of the ways that I always see trying to engage with young people is through esports. However, following the recent cancellation of the deal to host the first esports events in Riyadh in 2027. So what might be the next steps in order to pursue the new approach and new partnership model as IOC has committed?
Yeah, we're studying everything at the moment. We really want to ensure when we have the first, because it's not an if, I believe we all want to see the esport games happen. But we want to be very clear on what we want it to do and what we want it to deliver. And this gives us some time to really analyze that and to look at it. And I know you just had a hugely successful esport forum in the Bird's Nest, and I had a team there watching and learning, and I think there is a number of positives that can come out of these different learnings and these different conversations, and it's a huge untapped market for us. But I think we have to be very clear on what it is we want it to achieve. And that clarity will come in the next couple of months.
Inclusion of new and diverse sports is also another important way to make the Olympic movement more appealing to the younger generation. So what's your vision on that, Madam President?
I think this is part of what the Olympic Program Working Group is looking at. Right. We have to really give a lot of attention to the sports that have been on the Olympic program for a long time. We have to challenge some of those sports a little bit, to reinvent themselves, to make sure that they're continually growing, and that there's appetite from young people to participate in these sports. We saw with the new sports that came in Tokyo with skating and surfing and sport climbing, the huge acceptance from the younger generation. And this is, we want to see that. I think in order for us to stay relevant, we have to be able to continually inspire a new generation. And I believe that you can inspire a new generation more successfully if they can see themselves in what's being portrayed. You can relate more. But I think that's really important.
You want to come back with more certainty and more...
Yes, definitely.
President Coventry, you've been asked many times about the significance of being the first woman, the first African to serve this role. Today, I'm not going to ask that, but I would like to invite you to reflect on your personal journey, and we have prepared a video. I would like to invite you to some of the highlights of your athletic journey.
Good memories.
I like being underdog. No dream is too soon. Sometimes setting a goal, it's not for anyone else. It's just for yourself. And then work towards that.
It's quite impressive. This journey, starting as a little girl who started to swim, learning swim at the age of 2.
Yes.
Taught by your parents at the beginning.
Yes, by my granddad and my mom, yes.
Yes, and then to having the dream of Olympic Games at the age of 9, and then becoming the most successful African Olympian, and now leading the IOC. So what do you believe, President Coventry, are the biggest or the greatest source of inspiration along this very remarkable journey?
I think the inspiration, it changes. I think it was, as an athlete, it was always my dream. In 2004, it was a very individual dream, right? It was that 9-year-old girl wanting to win an Olympic gold medal, and I didn't recognize at the time how much it maybe influence or how that would impact my country. And my country at the time was going through a hard time in our history. And when I went back to see all of Zimbabwe come out and celebrate you know, I had hundreds of thousands of people on the streets, and I was like not prepared for that. I was like, this is strange. I'm a swimmer. I'm not a football player. It was a strange moment to sort of go back and be like, wow, everyone is celebrating my success. And then I quickly realized that it wasn't just my success. It was the success for the country. And I was so proud to do that. And the inspiration going into 2008, coming here into Beijing, was I want to make my country proud again. I think that inspiration changes. And I think now, going into a sports administration, when I was as the Zimbabwean youth and sport minister, the inspiration for me was I was an athlete and now I'm an administrator and I can make changes that I wanted to see as an athlete. How do I do that? How do I make my fellow athletes look back at the time that I was there and be like, she did a great job for us, the athletes. And I think that experience then leading into this leadership role, the inspiration is many different things. It's my children. I want to be a good leader and make sure that this Olympic movement is something that they are inspired by, even if they don't become athletes. I want to be able to give back to a movement, so that is an inspiration in itself. I want to be able to continue to lead this organization that makes other athletes proud, that allows for athletes to believe in their dreams and to succeed in their dreams. So I think the inspiration sort of, it changes and it evolves. Yeah, it evolves over time.
And finally, the Milano Cortina Winter Olympic Games is less than 3 months away. Also going to be your first Olympics as IOC president. Can you share with us a little bit about what might be the new touches or maybe surprises that we can expect from this game?
Well, I mean, Milano Cortina is going to be fabulous. We are going to be in incredible, iconic venues. The athletes, I think, are going to be very happy because they also know a lot of these venues. It's world-class venues that are used during World Championships and outside of the games. The backdrops are going to be incredible, and it's going to be in Italy, the land of passion and great food. And I'm very excited about Milano Cortina. I really do think it's going to be an incredible games, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think that this is where we're trying some of the new ideas on a more spread out games to be more sustainable, and what does that look like. So I'm also really excited to see the data collection that we're going to be able to have and see what works and what maybe didn't work, and how we're going to be able to use that and integrate all of that feedback into setting our course for the future.
President Coventry, it was such a great pleasure to have you with us again here in Beijing and for having us on Leaders Talk. Thank you so much for sharing with us your insights.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's always so good to see you. I thought they were some of the coolest things at the opening ceremony because I loved how they wobbled around behind all the teams. They were super cute. Yeah.
Did you have them, or do you want to go back and run to your daughter?
I actually have 2 sets.
That's great. That's great.
So thank you.
在专访当中，考文垂主席表示，此次访华给他留下了深刻的印象。全运会在粤港澳大湾区的启幕，让他真正感受到了中国式现代化的生机和成就。而习近平主席对体育的重视，则让他感受到了中国成为体育强国的决心和意志。作为国际奥委会主席，他表示期待不断加强对华合作，共同推动奥林匹克运动的蓬勃发展。感谢您收看本期的高端访谈，我是邹韵，我们下期再会。